People, lights are red because it's time for a hot take. My intros are getting better and better. Oof. A bit of a hot take today. It's gonna be my positioning on this hot take, and it's concerning Dominik Mysterio. Um, Ever since Dominik Mysterio turned heel on his father at Clash at the Castle back in 2022, he's been working constantly, and today, as we're talking, there are hot takes claiming that he is the biggest heel in wrestling currently. Because of everything he's done, because just the fact that the crowd boos him like no one has been booed ever since like Roman Reigns beat the Undertaker. Okay, it's an incredible reaction, and it's awesome that he got this after like 7 months of being healed. Okay, a bit more, but like you know, it's absolutely crazy. He cannot even do a promo, and he gets booed out of the building. This is huge. Okay, um, so yeah, it's gonna be my position. Do I think Dominik Mysterio is the biggest heel in WWE currently, or on in all of wrestling? Okay, if we consider outside of WWE, the biggest name that comes to mind is MJF. Okay, because he is AEW's top heel, undeniably. If we look at WWE, we have to consider Roman Reigns. We have to consider the rest of Judgment Day if we want to separate them. We have to consider Brock Lesnar. We can even consider Gunther and Austin Theory. But like when we talk about heel and talking about actually being a bad guy and not just not being liked by the crowd, but being a bad guy doing things for your own good and all. th- there's not many people at Dominic Mysterio's level because he literally betrayed his father. Okay, he didn't just betray anyone; he betrayed his own father. Betrayed Edge, who was a good friend of the family for a while. Kept on attacking his father nonstop, provoking him to fight him at WrestleMania. All the way until the match, there was this thing with his mom where he assaulted her verbally. Yeah, let's say it like this. So is Dominic Mysterio the biggest heel? In my opinion, he will be. I don't believe at the moment he is, but eventually, in not too long, he will become. Yes, I believe Roman Reigns still is the biggest heel currently. Why? Because he just embodies this bad guy. The fact the way he retained against Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania just by having Solo Sikoa come back to the ring even though he was banned, um, and attack Rhodes and giving Reigns the opportunity to hit the spear and win. It's just like clear at this point that we're not clear, but it shows how much Roman Reigns has no remorse and he thinks about himself and his family only, and he's been willing to kick the Usos out of the family. He bumped into Solo. He thinks of himself. He wants everything to himself. Has no respect for his family and all. So I still believe Roman Reigns is at the top, but Dominic Mysterio is coming up because of everything he's done against his dad and just his attitude in general. He has the attitude and the looks of a heel. Okay, he's that one little arrogant kid with that stupid smirk. Okay, he comes to the ring with that smirk on his face. You're like, oh, that kid, oh, I hate him, and you want to punch him. But if you look at him and you want to punch him, that means he's doing his job perfectly. Because if he's able to bring that desire in you to punch him and hate him so much, almost like in real life, like you actually hate him, he must be doing something right. Because the goal of a heel is to be booed, is to be the bad guy. Bad guys are booed, bad guys are hated. People want to beat up bad guys. That's Dominic Mysterio right now, you know? And even if you compare him to Roman, actually, he's way more hated than Roman Reigns is because a lot of people just love Roman and they support what they do. While on the other end, everybody hates Dominic Mysterio except for me. I love him. Okay, he's becoming one of my favorite wrestlers. Okay, I just love that kid. But yeah, he's getting there. And everybody hates him compared to guys like Roman Reigns or Brock Lesnar. That there is still a portion of the crowd that love them, that support them. While Dominic, everybody's like, oh, that kid again. And that's great. That's the reaction you want to get. So Dominic Mysterio is able to get that reaction that not a lot of people can get. Even MJF, there's a portion of people who actually support him, cheer for him, and all. And considering what Dominic Mysterio can do and has been doing only in a short amount of time. Okay, Clash of the Castle was in September. As I'm recording this, we're towards the end of May. Okay, so it's 9 months, 8 or 9 months. yeah, it's yeah, 9 months almost. Ever since he's turned on his father and Edge, and now 2 months ago he had this match against his father at WrestleMania. There was this whole thing with Bad Bunny. He did a lot, you know. He mocked Eddie Guerrero, did, you know, the famous, you know, shoulder, whatever you want to call it. So he's embodying that, just that little kid you want to hate, that, you know, only cares about himself or the people really close to him, and is willing to do anything to get what he wants, to get freedom, to get respect out of the crowd, you know. And we've seen it recently. But also there's the fact that he has the whole Judgment Day with him. Okay, I believe it helps. I did a video, okay, talking about the Judgment Day, and also I don't want to get too much into this, but he still has Finn Balor, Damon Priest, and Rhea Ripley by his side, helping him, doing promos with him. So he's getting elevated. You know, whenever Rhea Ripley has a match, he's there close, or, you know, he'll be watching and all. But he's involved in some way, shape, or form. You know. So Dominik is getting, you know, this visibility. He's being put in front of the crowd, and people will hate him, of course, and will boo him a lot. But he gets those reactions, and he gets the crowd involved in hating him, which is honestly, what else do you want? You know, the only thing he needs right now in order to get to that, you know, main event level, or to become one of the top heels in the business, is for people to actually recognize him as a main event superstar. Okay, because he's got the looks. Okay, he's got the look of that one punk kid. Okay, that everybody hates. He's okay on the mic. He's got the attitude perfect. Okay, in my opinion, the character is okay. I admire him for that. What he need, the wrestling skills, they're getting there. He's getting better and better each and every match. But he needs that dominance. He needs to be able to do something by himself, and people to be like, okay, he's a force to be reckoned with. Because at the moment, people put him like on the same level as guys like Drew Gulak, or I have a lot of respect for Drew Gulak, but he's not a world champion. You know, people in the low card, why? Because they're not giving him enough chances to prove himself, you know? Ever since he turned heel, he's been feuding with his father or the LWO as a whole. Nothing else, you know? His main catchphrase has been, "My dad be dad." Okay? Like, he needs more. Okay? His character is just, "I hate my father." So that's why I believe that at the moment he's not the biggest heel, because he needs some time to, first of all, develop his character, um, prove himself in the ring, on the mic, and just prove himself as being a kind of competitor that is in the mid card or high mid card, close to main event, you know? Because Finn Balor is that type of guy that, you know, he was put in the World Heavyweight Championship tournament. He went to the semifinals against Seth Rollins. And even, they could have put the World Heavyweight Championship on Finn Balor, and he would have done a great job. Damon Priest is a bit under there, but Damon Priest, you can give him any singles titles, and he'd be doing a great job with it. Dominik Mysterio is not there yet. Why? Because he didn't have that many singles matches other than the one with his father. He didn't have that many opportunities to prove himself outside of the Judgment Day. Okay? So while I believe that the Judgment Day has helped him to, you know, elevate himself and get to a better level, and, you know, have people recognize him more and more, I believe that if he wants to reach his true potential and get to the highest of highs, he's gonna need one day to depart from the Judgment Day. Because, you know, example, the Shield, they were all incredible. Okay, in 2014 they were dominant, but as soon as they split up, Seth Rollins became Money in the Bank, and not Mr. Money in the Bank, and not so long after became the face of the business. Roman Reigns was already heavily pushed to the moon. Okay, and Ambrose was feuding everywhere, doing incredible stunts, and eventually became the world champion and had, you know, everything centered around him. Okay, as a team, they're incredible. It's the same thing for the Judgment Day. But if you split them, you give them more opportunities to go by themselves and figure out more stuff. When should the Judgment Day split up? I believe it should be next year. Okay, why? Because they still need a bit more time to be recognized by the crowd and have those matches, those highlights, and all. And, you know, they need titles. Okay, Rhea Ripley has the title, but you need other people to win titles. Eventually, if they split up the tag team championships, well, you could give, you know, let's say the Raw tag team championships to the Judgment Day. You know, and having like Dominik and Damian Priest as the tag team champions. It would be great to see. It'd be nice, honestly, you know, because they've been working for it and they would do a great job and they get a lot of response and reactions from the crowd. That's what you want, you know. Whether it's face or heels, you want people to get the crowd involved. Okay, their merchandise is selling pretty well. A lot of people love and respect the Judgment Day, and the fact of having Rhea Ripley champion as well is perfect, you know. And then Finn Balor, either you could eventually give him the World Heavyweight Championship or the Intercontinental Championship, you know, whatever, it's fine. But as long as you give them some importance and you show that, you know, these guys are actually something. They're not just a random stable or random faction. They've actually got these skills. They've got what it takes to be champions. They are champions. They're doing a great job, you know. WWE needs to put trust in them, more trust in them, in order for them to elevate and get to, you know, high levels. Okay, I compare it to the Shield because that's exactly what the Shield was doing. You know, a bunch of guys that were doing okay jobs. You put them together, they dominated everywhere. They decided to put championships on them, which really helped them elevate. You know, Dean Ambrose was champion for like almost a year. It put him at a certain level. Reigns and Rollins were the big guy and the quick and fast guy. Remind you of something? Damon Priest, the big guy. Dominik Mysterio, the small and fast guy. You know, they could be tag team champions doing the same thing, okay? They just got to trust them. And after you've had all of this, you know, they've had their championships, they've had good matches, good feuds, good rivalries, you know. Once all of this is done and they lose the championships, then you can build off of that and split them eventually, okay? And they can all go their separate ways and have very great careers, okay? And Dom, you'll just need to find a way to push him and, you know, keep him on that level, okay? And it's tough, okay? But if you give time for people to actually acknowledge that he's there, that he's great on the mic, great in the ring, that he's got a good character, and you put him against top competitors and you have him win and you have him have good rivalries and all, eventually you can get him anywhere, okay? While Rey Mysterio will be considered one of the biggest heels, while Rey Mysterio will be considered one of the biggest faces in the history of WWE, Dominik Mysterio could eventually be one of the biggest heels in the history of WWE, which is incredible to think of, okay? He's got it. He's got his father to teach him a lot of things. He's surrounded by, you know, talented wrestlers and other heels around him that do it incredibly well. He's got a bright future ahead of him. I'm personally a huge fan of Dominik Mysterio, and I think if they do something similar to what I said, you know, of course, it needs to be more detailed and all, and I haven't, you know, booked anything. But, like, if you follow a certain path like this, you know, and gradually you build him up, Dominik Mysterio could be the face of your company in like 5 years or something, you know? Easily. Why? Because he's got it, okay? He picks up the mic and he can't even talk because the whole crowd is booing, but like, it's crazy. So you just need to capitalize on that. You've got an incredible opportunity with Dominik to push him to a level that hasn't been seen in a while, getting reactions that haven't been seen in a while. You got to capitalize on that. You got to put a lot of money on this kid, and he'll get this company somewhere. So final answer, is Dominik Mysterio the biggest heel in wrestling today? I don't believe he is yet, but soon, okay? By the end of the year, he could easily be, okay? And be the biggest bad guy you've ever seen in a while and just dominate everywhere, okay? Just do it properly. Keep that momentum going. Split the Judgment Day at a good moment. You know, don't keep them together for too long, but don't split them like in a month or something. Do it at the right moment, when it feels right, when you think the crowd will react well to it, and boom, there you go, straight to success. What do you guys think? Is Dominik Mysterio the biggest heel in wrestling today? Okay, comment whether you think he is the biggest heel in WWE today or wrestling, or whether he's not, okay? Tell me your thoughts. I'll react to them. I'll comment, and, you know, we can have a discussion. I don't mind. I'm always open as long as it's polite and respectful. Then I have no problem having debates with you guys. I love it. Thank you for watching. As always, make sure you subscribe. It helps me out a lot. We're very close to 1,600 subscribers, and I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.